Hi, Bill Colodzi here. This will be a first look at Ixalan Limited. I've compiled a couple of my first drafts online. In the rest of this, the timestamps below in the description will tell you when each of those begins. You can skip around. The first draft got a little messed up by some lag. The events were so popular online that the second match I blew it and F6 through my turn because of lag issues. So that won't be included, but yeah, overall, Ixalan has been really fun, not just for the flavor of dinosaurs, vampires, and pirates and whatever, but also in the gameplay and mechanics. It'll be fun to figure this format out over the course of the format, and yeah, check it out for yourself. Hello, Bill Colodzi here, jumping into my first Ixalan draft ever. I've done look over the whole format, the whole set, and some pre-release sealeds, but this is the first draft that's been available. Our rare is really bad, kind of a Punisher effect. Your opponent gets to choose what you keep and taking life. A little better if you're aggressive. Favorable wins, a nice build around. The other two uncommons are great in green. The Ixalan Archer, good with enrage effects and pick off small creatures. Snapping Sailback, insane value. And I think that's going to be the pick here. Flash it in, eat something up, grow bigger, and not a ton of other good options in common that I can see. Alright, another not great rare. Maybe a build around. It might be fun to try sometime, but I think we're going to keep things on the level for the time being. Now, the one thing I'm interested to find out is how synergy based this format is. A common is missing, or foil maybe. Or should we just take good cards like Tempest Caller, try to go tempo, and not worry so much about the synergy? It feels like only a few cards in the set really care about the synergy, some build arounds, and other than that you can just build any two colors, even the weird colors to build like black, green, and blue, white that aren't part of a specific archetype. Anyway, Tempest Caller comes in, taps all of your opponent's creatures that turn. Rummaging Goblin is fine if the game goes late. Kitesail Freebooter is another good one, but I would rather start with the Tempest Caller here. Arcane Adaption makes everything a certain creature type, not really what I'm looking for. And Trove of Temptation, I found this to be quite good, but it really just depends on how late the game goes. You get treasures each turn, and your opponent has to attack you with at least something. So if you're ahead, it just gets you further ahead, as long as you can block their thing or take away a blocker. Adonto Vanguard is absolutely nuts. It doesn't work with either of our first two picks, but yeah, this thing, if you go wide, this is really what you want to start out with. Probably the best card in the pack is the Vanguard. It just doesn't work with our first couple picks. Trove Chalice is not one I'm looking for. The Daggertooth is fine. It's got a little enrage ability. It's a 3/2. It's just not that exciting. So I'm actually going to take that though, because it's 3 power for 3 mana, and can't do too much better than that. Big old Brontodon here. Not going to pick that up. You definitely don't want multiples, if any. Anything with Explore is great. The cheaper the better. Help you find or dig to land as you need it. And a 3 mana 3/3 creature is going to be good too. So whether this draws you a card or becomes bigger, it's good value. Siren Lookout is another good one, similar. And maybe Merfolk is the color we're interested in, so I'd rather pick the Wayfinder here. I'm not actually sure which one is better. Maybe the Siren, but the creature type here is relevant. Anyway, I'm going to go for this Merfolk thing. Old Growth Dryads. Here we go. How aggressive are we? Do we want to give our opponent a land? Generally, that's pretty bad. We could try it out, but maybe we just shouldn't. Bonded Horncrest. I actually like this guy. if you're going to have a ton of creatures, it's usually going to have a friend to attack with. 4 mana 5/5. The dinosaurs have a few creatures with those stats, like the 4 mana 5/3 trample. Yeah, and this guy blocks really well, as long as you have a friend to block with. Awkward in our colors. If we're ultra aggressive, I think the Merfolk deck is the best place for something like Old Growth Dryads, but fixing your opponent's 3-color mana base is just a little too scary. Shoot, I'm not in love with this pack. I don't love the Flash 3/3, although it could be a good card for us. I do like this guy, Colossal Dreadmaw, 6 mana 6/6 trample. It's almost as good as that mythic that's hexproof, uncounterable, and 7/6 trample. And by almost as good, I mean way worse, but at the same time in limited, the hexproof might not matter so much, and it does at least trade with it. So that and New Horizons is another good one. I'm not sure if the counter is better than 3 life, but if you have a 2-drop out there and you're aggressive, like in the Merfolk deck, it is good. Yeah. Never a dead card. Or usually not. Also, the Bishop is a great value. Kind of late to see that. Comparing it to the Manticore from the past set that comes in and deals 3 damage to them, it's a 4/3. It is better than that because you go a lot wider in the vampires in this set. You get like 7 vampires out and all of a sudden you hit them for 7. I mean, that's a crazy swing. But sometimes you'll only hit for 1, and it's not as good. Let's see. Another dinosaur, we got a 3/4. A tiny Merfolk, if we're aggressive, he's good. It gives you a mana sink later. And a 2/5 that I really wouldn't try to put in the deck. I think the 1/7 is better. The thing. I'll take the Whiptail. Another Brontodon for us. Dive Down. The removal in the format is so expensive, and there's a bunch of it, but it's kind of expensive that this is really just trading with a good removal spell. And sometimes it's going to save your sail back, or they'll have a trick like a Sure Strike, and you'll be able to save it because it's just tough enough. Not one you'd be excited to run in every deck, but I think it's a good one. Vampires might be open. Cancel is okay. I don't think dinosaurs are getting the love they need, from us at least. We could take Commune. We could try to go into like black-green vampire dinos. Mark might turn out to be a good card in this format. I don't know about this one. Yeah, we have 4 dinosaurs. Let's take Commune. Not even sure if we play... I'm not even sure if we play blue. Rile up a couple of our dudes. We've got 2 things that benefit from it. Not going to pick up the non-basic land quite yet. Sure Strike, fine trick. Prime Blade. I like this in the Merfolk deck. It's really good with evasion. So if you have cheap flyers or unblockable things, it gets a lot better. Spell Pierce. Mr. Brontodon, make sure we get one. Or this Flowery Swamp. It's a bigger chance we bring in Spell Pierce from the sideboard, but even that's not too exciting. Oh well. I think we'll have enough Spell Pierces and Brontodons that we don't need to prioritize either. Alright, red is a possibility. Has a second color still. We've done a good job cutting green, and then maybe blue is our second color. Whoops, just trying to move this down. Here, we open a mythic. We open Tishana, Voice of Thunder. No maximum hand size. Draw a bunch of cards. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, but it's 7 mana, and if you top deck this, and it's your only creature, you say you really want your 7 mana to just win the game. It doesn't have trample. It just draws you 2-3 cards, or if you're already doing really well, it draws you more. I'm not actually that excited about it. Otepec Huntsmaster. With the few dinos we have already, that's going to be a quality card, and we could actually start riling it up here. And I'm also looking at Tishana's Wayfinder, but yeah, if we give up on blue, which I'm tempted to do here now that we only have one pretty good merfolk, yeah, I'll take the Huntmaster. So it makes all the dinosaurs cheaper. Oh no. Raging Swordtooth. It's going to be a while before I recognize the arts instantly. I thought this might be the rare, which is even better. It comes in with like another dinosaur, gives all your other dinosaurs haste, and it's a 4/4. This is only 5 power and toughness for 5 mana, but that's still really good. And it enrages all your other creatures. All of our creatures so far survive it, but it's pretty much the bane of a vampire deck, and easy first pick, or in this case second pick, so we got lucky here. Spell Swindle and another Huntmaster. Dinos are real. I'm glad we took that Horncrest when we did. This is funny, this effect that's strictly better than Mana Drain, because you can use the mana whenever you want. And not strictly better, because heck, they might have Shatter Storm or something before you can use it, but pretty much better because you get any color of mana whenever you want for the cost of the thing, but it costs 3 more for the privilege. So I think this could be good, and it just depends on the speed of the format and what you're up against. But countering some 8-drop dinosaur is going to feel really good with this counter magic. Alright, Fiery Cannonade. That does hit a few of our dinosaurs and kill them dead. But it also enrages things and could help us survive to the late game. Yeah. It kills the Huntmasters too. The other card I'm looking at here is Brazen Buccaneers. Like I said, any card with Explore is great. This is good value. It's just a more replaceable effect, and even if we don't end up main decking the Cannonade, it could be like the best card in our deck after sideboarding, in case we meet a real crazy deck. Rigging Runner. Not for our deck. I mean, it is green, you can play pirates in a dinosaur deck, no problem. However, we might not be raiding so often, and we don't take advantage of the first strike or even getting this down on turn 1. Is there another option? White stuff is disappearing. If we wanted to branch out into white dinosaurs, Opt is kind of cool. Jungle Delver. Yeah, Vampires looks to be kind of open after pack 1. Just the black-white vampires. But even white is not getting there so much. I don't know, I'm just going to take the red card. I can't imagine branching out for any of the cards in that pack, so we can keep picking up stuff for our deck. Okay, New Horizons. Neat with the Huntmaster, because it'll survive the Cannonade if it gets a counter on it. The best card in the pack here is Air Elemental, which has always been a nice dragon-y thing. Yeah, but the fixing is really hard to come by in this format, outside of treasures, which you only use once, so really you only want to splash 1 or 2 cards off them. And cards like New Horizons, but take the fixing first here. What is this thing? The 1 mana, there's this whole cycle, they're not all 1 mana, but this whole cycle of cards that you sack and pay 8 mana for an effect, and the effect is always pretty good. Some are better than others, and this is one of the better effects, but one of the worst bodies. You're not getting much out of a 1 mana 1/1 menace. One of my favorite tribes in the set, these merfolk, and this is one of the best ones. A 2 mana 2/1 flyer a lot of the time, and it's not limited by not being able to block ground creatures. It's a versatile little merfolk here. And merfolk, as a, it loves getting damage in, unblockable, because the creatures are generally kind of small. What do we pick? Demolish Crash? Crash is a fine trick. It's not something you're excited about, but Dual Shot and a Brontodon. We have some ramp elements, but I'd just rather pick up Dreadmaws any day over the Brontodons. Dual Shot is nice, though. If you don't have targets to kill, sometimes you have targets to enrage and get bigger that way. Yeah, I'll take the dual shot. Okay, well, yep, dinosaurs are more popular than vampires and pirates, apparently. Everyone loves their dinosaurs. Except the person to our left. But they might have found a good rare in their pack. Possibly dinosaur. Heartless Pillage. It's actually a pretty good card for an aggressive deck. The Chalice is not one I'm interested in. Prosperous Pirates is pretty cool. This whole pack is just not cards we're going to play. In all likelihood. Raider's Wake. Hard to evaluate these uncommon Megrim effects. And it's conditional. I think this card is actually pretty good, but you have to be in a deck for it that can attack early. Alright. So yeah, none of this is going to make our deck, but we'll take the dinosaur. Cobbled Wings has potential. Found this to be annoying. I mean, flying's a good way to win the game. You put it on your 4/4 or your whatever. Swashbuckling. I don't love setting myself up for a 2-for-1. You know, sometimes you can bring in an effect like this, which is strong. If your creature just becomes the biggest thing on the field and they don't have a removal spell for it, then you're in good shape. The haste doesn't matter so much. Pretty much just giant strength. Pack 3. Savage Stomp. This is just the best green removal spell. I can't think of anything better. I also love this card. I love the art. I love the effect. Instant speed. Power up a couple things. You generally want to be in the Merfolk deck, or at least have a couple laying around for it to be good. But yeah, it's not nearly as good as Savage Stomp. 1 mana for, you know, a permanent bonus to your creature, fight another creature. And then if you happen to have any of the cool dinosaurs with enrage, like the Sailback, you're getting a lot of value. Easy pick. Who's in this thing? Capichello, Ray T. Actually, Ray T was the first winner of a trophy, which I happened to see, because these cues just came out. Ad S, Duke 12, G-Man Sokol, Mr. Deathcloud, and Loshway. Another Glacial Fortress. That was the first land we opened, right? And a couple dinosaurs, and a couple cards outside of our color. The best card here has got to be Marauding Looter, a 4/3 for 4. Already pretty good stats, not too terribly hard to cast. And then it loots if you've attacked that turn at your end step. And that effect is great. You won't need more than 6 mana in a deck like this, so if you can just loot away any further lands. Yeah, that said, we could take another 5-drop Ceratops, not the best dinosaur in the world, or just a 2/1 haste. It blocks, it attacks, it is good. And now we get really rewarded by basically variance. The fact that this is opened, and maybe we chose the right colors or whatever, but there's no guarantee that a couple Savage Stomps are going to be opened in Pack 3. So close to us. So I'm just glad people to our right are not in green so much. We'll take another one of those. And now we can prioritize just a more solid base of creatures. Like this thing. Another 6/6. Looks good to me, and no other real considerations here except this sweet Herald's Boon. And we only have 1 Merfolk to get it, and with just a +1/+1 counter, it's not good enough. So you really need the Merfolk target. Hopefully not your opponents. You don't have to target 2 things. So you don't have to target your opponent's creature, for example, but yeah. Another Bishop of the Bloodstained to reward the vampire player. It's just a perfect curve topper for the deck. They go wide, and this is unblockable, you know, life loss instantly. But not much left for us. We have almost enough cards to make a solid deck here. We do need a couple more creatures. And Field of Ruin. It's not one I think is going to make it even out of our sideboard. At this point, I would rather play Fire Shrine Keeper, you know, to just fill in the deck. Hopefully we can cut it. Alright, here's a 3/3 that can't block, and a 3/4 dinosaur that's a little too hard to cast. So those are the options. Let's take the 3/3 that can't block. There have been worse Magic cards printed in the history of this game. The long and rich history. Dreadnought. 4/6 vigilance vehicle that crews for 2. How does that match up with the creatures we have so far? Couple Savage Stomps. A Brute. A lot of our creatures are a little too big to crew it. The other option here is to take Nest Robber. And some of our creatures are too small to crew it. I actually don't know about this. I guess we'll take the vehicle to try it out. Vehicles are kind of better in this format because there's less of them, so you just don't get as many shots. Now we've got another tough choice here. Blossom Dryad versus Rummaging Goblin. Blossom Dryad crews the Dreadnought, and it helps ramp up a little bit to these Dread Maws, and they can come down earlier. And this guy helps make our draws better. Yeah, I'll go with the Dryad though. Commune can help make the draws better too. Looter's back, that's crazy to see. Pirates and vampires just not being prioritized. So what are we cutting out of this? Ooh, we do get our Herald's Boon. And a Rummaging Goblin, so I'm happy. Fire Shrine Keeper is an early cut. And that is 24. Headstrong Brute might be a consideration for cutting. New Horizons is fine. Oops. Do we need 2 communes? Or is 1 enough? A lot of dinosaurs. Sure Strike, and we already cut Crash the Ramparts. It'll take some time here. I mean, it is the first draft, so I'm not an expert at this format yet. My instincts tell me this is a fine version of a dinosaur deck, just because we have these 2 Savage Stomps. So it does look good. It has the late game. We've got a potential Rummaging Goblin if we want. We'll cut 1 commune. Just rather play a creature than play something else. 14 creatures plus the Dreadnought. Yeah. New Horizons, even New Horizons could be a cut because we don't have many 2-drops. I'd rather play a creature. Yeah, I'm convinced. I think this is just better in a Merfolk deck or something with a few more creatures. So instead of that, we can play Rummaging Goblin. It just really depends on the speed of the format, how good Rummaging Goblin is. The slower the format, the better this is. Where did he go? Put him down here. Okay. Really even deck. Maybe a little more green heavy. Naturally, and also because we have an early commune. It gives up on our early Huntmasters. But that's not too bad. Ooh, good choice for the land that's going to populate these decks. I like this new land. Anyway, let's give Let's give this flashy new dinosaur archetype a spin. Round 1 versus Duofinel. This looks like a good hand. It's got some of our best early plays in these Otepec Hunts Masters, or Hunt Masters. And, oh shoot, no. Okay. A little lag there. Trying to press F6, not working. Okay. Spamming F3. Let's get our first guy down. Yeah, these Dreadmaws are going to come out for 4 mana with 2 Hunt Masters. So it's just going to be Huntmaster, Dreadmaw. And our opponent likes their dragons as well. We can kill that thing. I'm not too worried about trying that now. Oh, sorry about this lag. I wonder what's going on here. Everyone's playing Ixalan. Everyone's first chance. We'll even give it haste. This is gonna be a good turn. Alternatively, we could play the Ceratops, give it haste, and stomp something with it. Yeah, they're gonna attack here, but just for 2. No dinosaur on turn 3. And in red, there's not a whole lot they can do to kill our 6/6 without a giant creature of their own. They'll have to activate a raid trigger to even make that plausible. Now that's really funny, because Sailback is 3 mana. We can give it haste, fight this thing, and attack for a whole ton here. Yep, just, take 6. Might not have been too much better than the Dreadmaw, but the... Oops, better censor this comment. Yeah, I've got a pretty good hand. A lot of cards in it are unbeatable. Thrash of Raptors. So that helps out the Knight, but the Knight doesn't return the favor and help out the Raptors. They need another dinosaur. All right, let's do this. Are you done yet? Are you ready to concede yet? All right. Yes, they are. Good at predicting this. Looks like we have the better dinosaur deck. And based on their deck, it's not like we have any real sideboard cards. Cobbled Wings and Crash the Ramparts would be the only considerations. Maybe better than Dual Shot. Dual Shot does not do much. Neither does Cobbled Wings. We're just going to match up sizes and hopefully our stuff's bigger. Or finish things off with the Crash the Ramparts. Yeah, I like that. I get that Dual Shot does our own Enrage, but we only have 2 creatures with Enrage anyway, and it's just not going to hit any of their creatures. The only dinosaurs it hits are the 2-drop green and red and white creatures. Dinos. There's a 3/1 in white and a 2/1 haste in red. Just keeping this hand. On the draw, we'll be able to draw something, but it is borderline. Not the right colors yet. Much worse than the last hand. This could have been a mulligan. Uh-oh. Still not drawing the color we need. Last chance. Right, like Dual Shot would have done nothing here. Just a few more tricks. Wonder if they pump. I doubt it, because most sane people will have a 3-drop, but they do not. There we go. Rummaging Goblin to save us. I've been impressed by this card, especially in Sealed. I'm not sure how good it is in every game of Draft. If they don't kill it here, if they don't have their own Dual Shot, Thrash of Raptors is pretty good. If they don't have their own dual shot, we can try to dig for a forest. Nice, we got it naturally. A couple options here. Play our Dagger Tooth or Tishana's Wayfinder. Let's go with the Wayfinder. If it's small, that's not the end of the world, and then we can use the Rummaging Goblin to rummage at least one land away here. Maybe even after blocking the Thrash of Raptors. Yeah, we just won't need this mountain ever. Yeah, we'll rummage on their turn. There's nothing we can draw here for one except Ryle, so we can threaten the block. And honestly, we just let the Thrash of Raptors get through. Yeah, especially since they don't have a non-flashing dinosaur. Hopefully they don't have our dinosaur. Let's go to blocks here. I'm still not sold on this one, but let's keep our Rummaging Goblin around for a while. See what they do here. Sure Strike? River Herald's Boon. That's a really bad card, I think, in a dinosaur deck. Rummage away a mountain. And it would have blown out the double block, so I'm kind of glad we blocked this way. I have to say. And might prevent them from dropping a dinosaur. Yeah, just another one. Okay. Leaving up Sure Strike would be nice. It doesn't play around some removal spells. The other option is just play Spiketail Ceratops, which can block a couple things, I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see what they play. It seems like getting a bigger body into play now is good. Fell Flagship. So, they're not a dinosaur deck. They are kind of just an aggressive red-green deck, and they're supporting a lot of these pirates. That's nice here. Since they played that first and didn't seem to have other tricks game one, I'm really tempted to double block here and try to take out two creatures. Possibly the pirates. Yeah, possibly both pirates. And hopefully we just don't get blown out by this. Seems good. That's enough total damage. Alternatively, since we really just don't want to take 8, we can order these. The order doesn't matter, but I guess we'll put this small one in front to make sure we get all the damage we need in. Pounce. Our own thing. Yeah, that was a reason to put the big one in front. I immediately regret my decision because we could have killed the bigger one. Oh well. Live and learn. Dagger Tooth. This trades with everything. It kills the flagship, and we hold up Sure Strike. They are running out of stuff to do, and we have rummaged a couple things away. So got some value there. Pounce. All right, here it comes. Do they attack with both? Yeah. And then this, that player discards a card. I don't want to discard a card. Let's just go to block. And to keep our creature around, we'll use Sure Strike. Also, we have a lot of mana, or a lot of cards in hand, but not so much mana. And they're going to pump as much as they can here. I hope they just pump all of it, so we have perfect information. Yeah. And that first strike will take that down to less damage. So all in all, we're doing okay here. Now we have to choose 2 creatures, Dreadnought, or Grazing Whiptail. Let's go 2 creatures, because that lets us block with the Daggertooth and maybe tap for more mana next turn. Really close between that and just playing the Whiptail, but I think either of those options are better than playing our Pirate Ship. Vehicles are back. Vehicles are back in a set with dinosaurs. That's kind of strange. Do we trade everything off here? Yeah, I think we do. I think we just go ahead and trade everything. If we can. No more pounces, please. And they're down to 2 cards. It's likely enough that they're just creatures and we can play more good stuff. Sure. Of course, it'll be these giant monsters here, these giant creatures. But if we held the creature back, then they would have just killed the creature. So I like how that turned out in the end. Oops. Yeah, I'm tapping too quickly for this blasted program. If that was their best play, then Whiptail holds the fort. Nice. Doesn't hold a trick up, but if they have removal on their turn, at least we'll have 1 turn of blocking. We need to find our 6/6s to start getting damage back in, or another creature that can crew the Dreadnought. Yeah, I realize bigger creatures can crew. I know how vehicles work, but it sort of feels inefficient if you're crewing with something too big. Yeah, they're not going to go for it. Yeah, and we're not winning that race, so keep passing here. Keeping their dinosaur population low is important. There we go. Why don't we... Huh. I want to attack with the Dreadnought, but that just has to be wrong. Play land. Land lets us have sail back plus crash. Crash. Spiketail Ceratops. I'm just going to play this. Maybe we'll draw something to do, and then we'll want to have played it. They have a lot of stuff. Sure Strike would be better than Crash here, because we could bring one of their things down to size. This almost deals with everything. I don't think they'll even want to block yet. And we can play Horncrest. This creature cannot block alone, but even if they kill the sailback, we'll be able to crew the Dusk Legion to survive a bit. Another creature. It's just gonna come down to creature count by the end of this. Oh, that's pretty good here. It only kills one creature of theirs, the knight, but it does it instantly, and it makes the sailback bigger. Their creatures don't have enrage. Yeah. Oh no, I immediately regret this. Huh. We could actually attack with everything, and that would win it here. If they block with nothing. Yeah, I regret this. I regret this. We're going to lose some stuff here. I think they actually go for the win. And then we don't have enough blockers. So we have to run out Fiery Cannonade. And that'll kill all of our dinosaurs. Oh, good God. This is the giant mythic. They'd give us another turn here. Okay, so let's kill one of their creatures while we can. And enrage our sailback. That was a good draw. That can actually hold up against the Carnage Tyrant. It can hold its own. Then we can have 3 creatures back to block. That's plenty. If we attack with the sailback here. 7, 8. We need one more to do both. I don't feel comfortable just attacking with sailback and then playing the Dreadmaw. I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm gonna save Crash. Funny, I mentioned the Carnage Tyrant during the draft and said this card isn't much worse. And in this situation, it's not, because we aren't going to target their thing anyway. They both have Trample. Theirs just a little bit bigger. Hexproof isn't relevant at this stage. Yeah, don't attack. Once they get that Trumpet Blast for giving dinosaurs Trample, I think we're in bad shape. But if we draw something good, like this, then we're in good shape. The only we get 2 Savage Stumps and a Forest. At least we get something. We'll put those close to the top, and I guess the Brute is more relevant than the Huntmaster to draw late. They know about the Forest, so no worries there. 16. We could attack for 19 here, but only one guy has Trample, so the Ceratops can kind of block 2 things, and then we need more blockers back. We'll have to play the waiting game again. Their blocks are just too good. They could make a block that's good for us, but there are some blocks that just kill us. Because if we attack with enough things, then their blocks get better. And if we attack with too few things, they don't have to block, and their attacks get better. Ooh, he's coming in. This guy is coming in big time. No doubt about that. Do you think they have the spell that like revives it when it dies? I don't know. We're gonna go ham on this thing though. We're gonna block with everything. Actually, let's say they have the first strike spell. That's 10. I still want to kill it. What if we only block with the Sailback and the Dreadmaw? They could still have another Pounce. They could have 2 removal spells. And declare attacks. Okay, so we pass to go to blocks. Hopefully that registers there. I like this block. Yeah, sure. They could also have Star of Extinction or something, and they just wanted to kill our vehicle too. Yeah, it's a pretty silly turn of events here. I want to keep our guy. Why don't we just crash the ramparts to Dreadmaw? Or call it even and see what they have. I'll call it even, yeah. That's a good trade. We traded a common for a mythic at the same mana cost. Would have been cute to just block with the Sailback, but that goes wrong if they have 2 removal spells. Sacrifice is a permanent. Well, what better permanent to sacrifice than this forest? Probably Mountain would have been better. But now we have all our mana untapped, so that's cool. Fire Cannon Blast on this. That is excellent. Yeah, so our guy will be a 6/6 now. It won't be big enough to beat the trick, so I'm glad we saved it. Rile him up. Oh, Rile. That card might just be a good card. I certainly don't know. 7. Not big enough to really get in here. 4 is pretty good. And then we'll have 3 blockers back that they just can't attack into. So why don't we crew here? Once again, I apologize for the lag. It might be on my end, but it could also just be the load on Magic Online. Lately, people are excited. People want to do their dragon stuff, their dinosaur stuff. Oh, everything's blocking. That block's pretty bad for them if they don't have a follow-up dinosaur. Shoot. Wait here. Switch these two to make sure that first one went through. Okay, I really want to kill the Ceratops because that makes the other things smaller. And trading off the vehicle doesn't actually change the number of creatures we have at any given moment. So we're doing all right here. Yep, no attacks from the pirate dinosaur deck. 7 is a good number to attack into this. I might just go full out here, or nearly. What can they do? If we attack with the Dreadmaw, let's make a lethal attack, right? And then we'll have 2 things back to block. Or they could draw an answer for this. Ooh, I don't like that. Okay, I found it. Let's make a lethal attack with the Horncrest and the Sailback. Because if we held back the Horncrest and the Whiptail and they killed the Whiptail, they'd just kill us. And they could just chump one thing with the Pyromancer. This looks good. I don't mind them double blocking the Horncrest and trading 1 for 1 with something kind of big. Oh, don't tell me it's their own Sailback. Could be worse. It just means they get to kill our 7/7. Could be worse. Sucks that they have it in their deck if they win this game. But their deck's good. I didn't know it was this good. They got a lot of random pirates in there, but they have a few of the best dinosaurs you can ask for. The Carnage Tyrant. Is this... Oh, they flashed it in just to make Thrash bigger. Yeah. This kills all of their dinosaurs. It trades 2 for 2, and we're left with the biggest dude on the board. I wish we had another sure strike. Sure, F6 here. We both get a counter on our sailback. Nice. Posthumously. And now our Dreadmaw comes in and just trades. 2 for 1. He just doesn't even care. Wonder if they have a raid trigger good enough to throw away a creature. A good example would be this Fire Cannon Blast, just to kill our Dreadmaw. Oh, there we go. Doesn't actually do much here, but it's a good blocker. What if we attack with both? Yeah? And they block the Stormfleet Arsonist on the Whiptail. And then we kill it. We finish it off with the Sword Tooth. What do you think about that? I like it. I like it. Or they could double up on the Dreadmaw, and they could have done that anyway. Yeah, what a predictable block. This is pretty nice. You can't play things too safe. I mean, give them forever to draw. Nice. What I don't want them to do is draw the Reality Smasher dinosaur and just wreck us. But at least we could trade off there. Ooh, New Horizons. Cut it from our deck, but you see how good it is. I mean, it's going to make something a bit bigger. Not a relevant size right now. Not really. They go up to 8 and then down to 3. We're attacking with 11 trample. 5. Oh, we just win. We just win because the damage happens. They're dead before the trigger resolves to gain 2 life. Yeah, good game. Doesn't matter how they block. It matters how we assign damage, because we could assign non-lethal damage. But I'll take it. Match 1. Hello, this is Bill Clodsey. We have arrived on Ixalan for some competitive single elimination draft here online. And let's take a look. We get a rare, search for Azcanta. This reminds me of that Sultai spell that you get to basically scry and then fill up your graveyard and then draw cards with the other side of it. Kind of funny that the border on the opposite side here is blue, although I don't think it's that way in real life. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, Dinosaur Stampede. Next up, it's a nice finisher. Trove of Temptation is interesting, and Perilous Voyage is... I'm actually surprised this is uncommon. I thought it was common, but it's a nice one. You can't bounce your own stuff, so that's one disadvantage there. I'm not really sure what to take here. Direfleet Hoarder. I'm actually going to start with the Search. Try this out. Maybe there's a control deck where this can get a lot of card advantage. And nothing else is too exciting. Okay, rare is missing, and this is a foil rare. A pretty one with the... I guess Triceratops now have feathers instead of bones up there. Who knows? Emergent Growth. Not a card I like. Reminds me of Phyto Burst or something. Generally, they would chump block anyway, so the fact that they have to block isn't so good unless you're each down to 1 card or whatever. White-blue, while not supporting a tribe, could actually be a good color combination. That remains to be seen, how much you have to focus on getting synergy in a tribe. And a lot of the cards don't depend on the synergy that you're getting. Very few cards are. I mean, Dinosaurs is probably the most synergistic tribe of the 4 tribes. There's a few cards that reward you for having a bunch of the same thing. But generally, I think you can do whatever you want. Fire Cannon Blast, a nice removal spell. I'm going to go with Sarah Angel here. Okay, Kapala, Warden of Waves. So this is one that's a payoff for being in a specific tribe. Your merfolk get this shield that makes them harder to target with spells and abilities. So that's pretty good. But it's just a 2/2, and you have a lot of time and limited, so if their removal spell costed 3 and now it has to cost 5, yeah, I would play this in most aggressive merfolk decks that have like 2-drops and stuff. But it's not a high pick if you're not in merfolk. Ixalan Archer. I would guess this is the best card in the pack. We could also take Paladin of the Bloodstained, which is a little better than Shining Aerosaur in general. That is a worse card than the Ixalan Archer. However, I'm going to go with the Paladin here. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one. Ixalan Archer especially good in what's it called? In vampires, so you can hit your own. Sorry, in dinosaurs, so you can hit your own dinosaur, give it enrage if it has some kind of trigger there. Lightning Rig Crew, pretty good card. Maybe we're just giving up on search for Azcanta. Although I really do want to try the flyer deck in blue-white. I wonder if that is a real thing. Sleek Schooner. I'm just going to go with the Sleek Schooner. There aren't many vehicles, so having one is a nice bonus, and it's especially good with something that makes a 1/1 token, so it can easily crew it. A couple good options in this pack. Territorial Hammerskull's good. Siren Lookout. Anything that explores is great. This has evasion and Lightning Rig Crew, but I'm going to go with the Schooner. The sooner the better. Wanted Scoundrels. Yeah, that's aggressive. That's super aggressive. 4/3 coming down. If they do kill it, they can't exile. They have to actually kill it or trade off with it. Then they get 2 treasure tokens. So it's a bit of a bonus for them, kind of money in the bank. But it's good enough here. I'm just going to go for it. It's too bad it's not a vampire. But it does fit the curve nicely. What else do we have? Menace. Menace Pirate that explores when it enters. Really good. Yeah, a couple of random things that we're not so interested in. Maybe Prosperous Pirates is okay. The Prying Blade equipment is good with flyers. It's also good with little tokens, doubling their power. But I'm going to go with the Interloper here. See what kind of crazy thing we can build. Here we go. Desperate Castaways is one option. And Skyblade of the Legion, which has that built-in evasion and can crew the Schooner on its own. All by itself with 1 power it can crew it. So that's kind of nice. And if we do end up going deeper into vampires, then having a little attacker here also triggering raid is going to keep piling on the damage. A Costly Plunder. Big reward for the Merfolk deck if you're playing both colors, because any Merfolk early is just going to be great in that deck, because a lot of the 3-drops, including the ramp card and one of the uncommons, they're going to add counters to your earlier creatures, and you can kind of buff them up that way. You just want to get some stuff down early. Costly Plunder, though. Yeah, it looks like we're heading towards black-white, and this is a fine one. Dire Fleet Hoarder. Pterodon Knight is just Hill Giant, because we don't have any dinosaurs yet, and not a lot of them fit well into a vampire deck. Maybe the 3/4 flyer, but in which case you just play that and you have that flyer. We'll take the Hoarder. And a Pirate's Cutlass. Perfect. I never want to see Queen's Bay Soldier in my deck. It'll probably make it if you have enough vampire synergy. I'm going to mix up all these tribe names. But yeah, Pirate's Cutlass is great. Even if we're not playing all pirates, like, we'll just put it on our flying vampire for 2 mana later in the game. Make it a 3/4 flyer. Really nice. Also, I found it to be incredible on 1/1 lifelink vampires. Your opponents can't really attack into those because you'll just equip up the cutlass and attack back and gain some life. Fog with hexproof, and not even a good fog because it doesn't save you. You know, you can't just attack out and not care about their attack. You have to leave creatures back, and not good against trample. It does not prevent damage to players. Queen Space Soldier. Yeah, we can finally take some of these random vampires, and another Pirate's Cutlass. I guess I'm in for that. The Keeper could be good in a really wide vampire deck, but I'm not so interested in it. It would be good with a Cutlass too. Another Plunder. I don't care about gaining life and drawing cards for 3 mana. It's a little too much, but it is nice that it's instant. Alright, what do we have next? Sword Point Diplomacy. Wow, a rare in our colors. Unfortunately, this is much worse than it may look at first glance. If you expect to like do 3 damage and draw 2 cards, it's just not going to be that. And if you do draw 2 cards because your opponent can't take much damage, they're just going to give you the worst 2 cards because they get to choose, you know, specifically which cards you get to keep and which not. So you hit 2 lands and you're flooded anyway, they'll give you those and mill your bomb. Anyway, Vanquish the Weak. Solid card. Very few decks that this is a blank against. Even the dinosaur decks have early plays, and it's nice to disrupt them with this effect. Gosh, I hope our colors are open. It doesn't look like it, but that's just one pack here. Dragon Skull Summit. The new lands here have new art, or they're old lands, but they have new art, and I quite like it. What do we pick? Right, so white-black is kind of disappearing. Someone said, yep, I opened a vampire and I'm taking it. It doesn't matter what I'm getting past. So apparently we're being cut off in this pack. But all the teamer cards we could want. Esper's a funny combination to be in. I'll take the Heartstopper. Oh, here we go. Back on track. Reprisal. Yeah, Reprisal has always been good. Your opponent has to come in eventually. And they're not generally going to play around this specifically. So it's pretty good. Kitesail Freebooter is great. It's a duress, and in limited, your opponent can only have so many answers, so you steal the one, and it's just duress that they can get their card back eventually if they kill it. But it's a flyer too, a nice evasive threat to put Pirate's Cutlass on, start attacking early. The Knave is another good one. But I'm going to go with the Freebooter. Really annoying to play against. Hey, here we go. A couple incredible cards here. We've got Wanted Scoundrels. We can take another early 4/3. Or we could take this Mythic and try it out. The Mythic is more exciting, and these effects that finish out games when you get some early damage in are pretty good when you have small early evasive creatures. So I will try out this Mythic over Wanted Scoundrels, even though it would be fun to have 2 of those. Wow, Blood Crazed Paladin, one of the few flash black creatures. I can't even recall another black creature with flash, so maybe that's a first. I'm sure there's others, but yeah, that's a nice effect. You trade off a bunch of creatures. They don't have to be token creatures, or sorry, they don't have to be non-token creatures, so any of your tokens that die it also works with. It often is just going to be a 2-mana 3/3 with, you know, the potential to attack there. I'll try this out too. I would also like Territorial Hammerskull and Vanquish the Weak, but this seems too fun. What else do we get here? Skyblade of the Legion. We can have another one of these, get some incremental damage in, and then finish off with Direfleet Ravager. Alright, Sheltering Light? It kills... Oh, Sheltering Light. Yeah, I'm thinking this is the one that did 2 damage, but this is the one that makes a creature indestructible in Scry 1. As far as tricks go, it's efficient. 1 mana. You get to Scry. You can save your Skittering Heartstopper, so that'll kill something. Maybe save your Ravager, so that'll kill 2 things. Or just save your Kitesail Freebooter so they don't unlock their removal spell. Yeah, I like this. The Fathom Fleet Cutthroat's also a nice one, but we have flyers, so we might not just be chump attacking into an opponent. Sentinel Totem for constructed sideboards. Demystify for a limited sideboard. And Queen's Agent, which is expensive and not very appealing. But who knows? We might need playables. Obviously, Sword Point Diplomacy Wheeling is not a surprise. We could take a worse Hill Giant or Unknown Shores. Yeah, I'll take the Sword Point Diplomacy. If you actually have your opponent at 3 life, this becomes draw 3. So, and if they're at 6 life, it becomes draw 2. And if they're at 9 life, it becomes draw 1 at least. So if you are pressuring your opponent's life total, it does get better. But even in the last 2 cases, they get to choose which card or cards you discard. Canopy, it's pretty good against us because we have some flyers. Now this is a league. Wow, Ruthless Knave is back. Efficient little beater here. It is a league, so we're not playing against the cards that we're stealing here. First Conquistador, maybe that'll be good. But we could, especially if we queue up right after we finish building, then it's a good chance we get someone from our own pod. Who's in our pod? Pseudonym. Barg. The P is silent. Miracless. Romani. Oh, and a good card we're opening up. Legion's Landing. When I saw this, it's just all the value. You get 1 mana, you get a Sacred Cat, right? That doesn't come back, but all you have to do is activate Battalion or trigger Battalion, and this thing flips and becomes a Planeswalker, practically. And all that for 1 mana. It's such a low investment for the possible returns. Nice open here. Nerd, 13. Lenny. And Mange Man. So that's our pod here. Wow. Anything else even worth looking at? Always worth looking at Explore cards. The more expensive, the worse, and this is a real cheap one. There's no 1 mana thing that explores on entering, but there's a little guy that explores by devouring your opponent's graveyard. And it's like a black rare. But anyway, I like the Bishop Soldier and Desperate Castaways. It's more of a blue-black pirate because blue-black tends to make the most treasures. Oh, I thought this was a different one. This is a still powerful card. Just a 2/1 first strike, which, you know, holds off some stuff, but it can be a 3/2 first strike if you hit a non-land. And that's starting to get really good value for the mana. Otherwise, it'll draw you a land, and that's also very good. We can commission some vampires here. We can take a Hammer Skull. Someone's going to have a lot of Hammer Skulls. That'll be annoying. Steadfast Armasaur. Pillar. Time to evaluate this card. I don't think it's generally very good because, like, even in a dedicated tribal deck with only Merfolk or dinosaurs or something, it doesn't help fix the mana so well unless you are in 3 colors. So I'd limit it to pirates and dinosaurs. But even then, it doesn't cast your other spells, which you'll have 6 of or something. It just sits there doing nothing for those. Ranging Raptors, very good. Maybe Mark of the Vampire is worth playing. Yeah, I'm actually going to take Mark of the Vampire because we have so many of these evasive early creatures, and if it goes unanswered, it's just over. There's removal in this set, but the removal is not super efficient unless they have Lightning Strike it in response. This gets a lot worse against Bounce, but that's only in blue. Lightning Rig Crew, very good card. Probably high on this because of Two-Headed Giant recently at the pre-release, where this is just unstoppable. Blocks about everything, and with 2 opponents, you're doing twice the damage. Anyway, Sheltering Light, another one, or a Queen's Commission. I like the Commission. And a Chupacabra. How many Explore effects do we have? Not enough, I think, to warrant it. So I'm just looking through here, because I don't know everything by sight. We have Emissary of Sunrise and a real expensive one, so I don't think the Chupacabra really gets there. We could take another... Another Knave, or just a Skyblade of the Legion? That's tough. Now that we've taken a couple Pirates' Cutlasses, maybe Skyblade is better. I mean, it just gets a free attack in just about every turn. I'm going to take that, actually. Direfleet Captain, and we have the same option here. A Knave versus a Skyblade. So what's good about the Skyblade? We have Mark of the Vampire and 2 Cutlasses, tripling the power of Skyblade. And we have a little bit of reach with the Direfleet Ravager. We fold pretty hard to a 3/4 blocker. Maybe this Knave is going to be better. Maybe a Knave Wheels. I'll take the Skyblade. Let's go nuts here. We could take a 5th Skyblade. Not going to be as good as taking Contract Killing, which kills that pesky 3/4 flyer that gets in our way, or just anything we need to kill. Some giant dinosaur. Happy to pick one up here. And another great value card. This is, yeah, a lot of power and toughness for 4 mana, and it's even better over 2 bodies. Okay, Castaways, more commissions, and an actual Slash of Talons. We have so many playable cards that we don't necessarily need another commission, and going wide isn't actually going to get paid off in our deck so much, besides for Legion's Landing. So I'm going to take Slash of Talons and possibly just bring it in from the sideboard if we need it. Another Sheltering Light. Duress could be good, but yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing you'd bring in against a Planeswalker, and we don't have to assume we'll play against a Planeswalker. Demystify over another Plunder, a 3rd Plunder. Or it's our 2nd Plunder, I just didn't have one in. Alright. Not much left for our colors, but here's a late Explore card. Probably best in a Dinosaur deck, because the Merfolk deck really wants to be attacking early, and this thing is an 0/3, or possibly a 1/4. Sometimes a 1/4. That Knave there, late, because that thing explores. Alright, we're going to have to cut away some of the worst cards, like Queen's Agent. Just get him out of here, and yeah, pretty much definitely in 2 colors. Very hard to splash in this format. Or not so much splash, but just actually play a 3rd color. Because there are a lot of good ways to just splash a card with treasures and whatnot. Alright, I like the Cutlasses. That's our win condition, really, is just getting an evasive flyer and putting a Cutlass on it and attacking every turn. Vanquish the Weak is great. Sheltering Light might be on the weaker side, because we do have so many creatures and they're replaceable. Blood-Crazed Paladin. That might not be one of our best cards. Emissary is definitely up there. Yeah, I'm going to cut the Blood-Crazed Paladin. Since we have so many evasive creatures, we're not necessarily going to be trading off a ton. And that's 24. 16. Looking at the curve, we have a fairly low curve. 7 2-drops, 2 1-drops, or 3 drops come in and immediately equip to at least one of our creatures. Yeah, immediately equipping to 3 creatures. We have to pay a little more to get it on the Skyblade. Ruthless Knave is good, Emissary is good, and wears equipment quite well. I like it. I like it. Glorifier, always good. Sarah Angel. So that leaves us with an easy 8/8 mana base. We'll see. We'll see if these Skyblades are the new Gust Walkers. Hello. Round 1. We're playing Hauka, Son of Huatli. And yeah, good hand. It needs black, but imagine this. Drawing black on turn 1 or turn 2. And following up Legion's Landing with Wanted Scoundrel. It's pretty good, especially against green where there aren't efficient answers to Wanted Scoundrels. They can pounce it with a medium-sized creature. And this is just Merfolk, so I guess bouncing it is okay, but not even that special. We won't have to worry about Jungle Delver for a while. I'd happily trade off with the Vampire while we can, because we won't get the chance once they get to 4 mana. And they are not interested in that. So, well, maybe they are. But I doubt it. Alright, we need to draw land. As good as the 1/1 Vampire is, it's not going to get there on its own. Fortunately, we can draw another Plains and get away with it. At least for a turn, and that'll help us draw towards our black source. So they are just holding back. That's a sad opening for Merfolk because a lot of their value creatures are on 2 and 3 mana. But who knows, maybe they're going to flash in some kind of thing. That's too bad here. Yeah, I would always keep this hand. I don't regret keeping it. It just didn't quite get there. If you've, I mean, imagine a 4-card hand with 2 Plains, Legion's Landing, and Emissary, and then drawing 6 non-lands in a row. Like you're gonna lose those games, unfortunately. They return that. That is a pretty good blocker for some of our stuff. We could vanquish it anytime. In fact, we could probably get the Kitesail Freebooter down before we vanquish it to make sure. Unless we wanted to vanquish right now. Yeah, let's... Okay, so the 2 options here are Wanted Scoundrels and Emissary of the Sunrise. Now, pouncing Storm Sculptor and Scoundrels still comes out behind. Let's get a more powerful creature. Besides, we've played a land this turn, so Explore gets slightly worse. You want to really explore on a turn when you haven't played your land and you don't have another land, because you kind of get more value out of it. Yeah, I can't block this. And they can't make their Delver big enough yet to kill our Scoundrels. Oh, there we go. Part of me wants to play the Cutlass and just attack for 6. That gets really bad against some kind of bounce. Like put this back on top of our library, for example. So, we missed our land drop. Let us explore. Now they could also bounce our thing so we don't find the land, or counter it. That is sad. You know, it uses up a card and it keeps Jungle Delver small, so it's not the end of the world. Still looking for black mana here, or any mana. Here we go, swinging 5. Their force is now superior. Yeah, let's get down another creature. And again, the Paladin looks stronger than the Interloper because we've hit our land drop this turn. And it's just more power, even if we get the Menace thing to make it bigger, or the Explore trigger to make it a 3/3. They're not up to 8 mana yet, so we could trade off now the Paladin with the Delver. If we don't trade it off, or if they hold back to block, we could use Vanquish the Weak to get them. Sort of our last chance here, as long as they don't have another safety spell like Dive Down. I will say, based on the removal in the set and the cost of Dive Down, it really makes an efficient answer to a lot of the removal. I mean, if you're trading 1 mana for their 5 mana removal spell, and you protect your 6-drop because you just happen to have 7 lands or untapped, that all gets pretty good. Shoot, I don't want to block here. We could get blown out by all kinds of things. Let's see what they got. It's also a good way to trade creatures that are evenly matched. I've definitely had a 6/6 dinosaur, and they have a 6/6 dinosaur. They attack in, you dive down it. So probably one of the undervalued cards in the set. All right, what next? Can we explore now? Exploring doesn't seem perfect. They could have the untapped spell is in white. 8. We could get 8. They could kill us next turn. I think it's time. I think it's time we saw what was in our opponent's hand. Emergent Growth. And we're just going to steal that. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, that was lucky. Because they were just going to kill us with an unblockable creature. Vanquish the Weak would have stopped it. However, we were not guaranteed to have that mana up. 8. Yeah, let's just get an 8. We can chump block the... I guess he'll be a 5/5 potentially. We'll chump block that with the Skyblade. Yeah, looking at it, Emergent Growth, I mean, it makes sense in Merfolk with all the evasive creatures. Must be blocked if able. Yeah, I still don't see that this is much better than Phyto Burst or whatever, Phytoblast, whatever it was that made something just +5/+5 until end of turn at sorcery, and that was 2 mana. I mean, it's good on a creature with trample. It's good on, like a giant dinosaur. They have to block with something, so at least it, trades with their worst creature and gets more damage in. Cool. We got there. That was a lucky freebooter. Glad we cast that when we did. Sheltering Light, pretty cool, but still not amazing. A lot of the Merfolk have flying for whatever reason, but we're just not in green. I don't know when they made this creative choice, but now Merfolk have legs and wings instead of like fishtails. What are you gonna do? That way they can walk on land and don't have island home. It's like, well, true enough. All right, Slash of Talons. That's good, right? That could save us from an evasive creature. It doesn't save us from that big sorcery, but they're not going to cast that out right away anyway. What do we cut? We could cut a Heartstopper. I think I'm fine with that. Because of the evasion and small size of creatures, Heartstopper is less efficient. It's better. It's better against bigger dinosaurs. Looks like another fine opening. Oh yeah, we're gonna get him here. No one ever suspects the Slash of Talons. Not on day 1 of drafts, or day 2, or whatever it is. No! No, we lose. 2 damage to it. Ah, it's just too late. Oh well, we'll start attacking back for 4. Maybe we can get lifelink on our guy. That might be what we need to win here. Oh, thank goodness. This could have been another one, or the merfolk that added counters to both creatures, so it makes it a 5/5. Still pretty good though. Kills our wanted scoundrels. It's gonna be a tough one. It's not gonna be easy. I think we can't even attack here. I mean, certainly we're dead in 3 turns, but would our insect have been better? I don't think so. Oh, okay. Now we're dead in 2 turns. And the only card 9 that even comes close to saving us is the lifelink. Then we go up to exactly 9. Yeah, that was rough. Those were rough waters. See all these flying merfolk? Look at them flapping their wings. Doesn't make any kind of sense. Demystify. Alright, they have a couple of those. I'm putting in Demystify and taking out Slash of Talons. Maybe it's worth taking out Costly Plunder on the play. Yeah, I like that change. But what we can do with this is just ambush one of their flyers off a Demystify. They unknowingly make some bad attacks. Game 3. Let's do this. Gotta win this to stay alive in the tournament. Opt. Powerful. Not a bad start. We're still suffering from being unsure about drawing the color of mana we need. Not unsure anymore. No reason to show it off though. No reason to brag about it. We'll just keep that and curve out. I do like the art on this forest. IRL, I collect a bunch of the same art on land, maybe 10 or 20, and then bring that to draft with. Just kind of easy. I don't have to go up to the land bins or whatever. Sleeve it up. Cool. So, if I wasn't as greedy, I might hold up Vanquish the Weak to try to get a 2-for-1. But I'm just gonna bring out this Ruthless Knave here. We're on the play. We better push that advantage and get some good stuff out there. Oh, phew. Not getting force spiked. Opt. Opt plays very similar to cycling in that if you have a few opts, you can just kind of go down on your land count. I think that's how that works. If you're playing 3 opts or something, you probably get away with 16 lands. Yep, there it is. Can't say I'm surprised, but we are racing it, especially now with the Interloper. I'm not yet comfortable enough with the format to not be sure there's not a trick in blue. I'm pretty sure there's not. That untaps it. Certainly there's the hexproof thing. Ooh. I like Pirate's Cutlass. I like it a lot. And then we hold up Slash of Talons. But getting a 5/4 Menace next turn Or heck, a 5-3 looks like a good option. Still taking big hits. This has been 2 hits and we're at 12. I've hit them twice and they're at 15, and I have way more power on the board. Does that sound right to you? They're gonna loot. Looter, best friend of some merfolk. What a silly looking card. Who's the artist? Wayne Reynolds. Nice. Okay, goodbye island. There's that card quality. Okay. This should be quite good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can come back for 8. Even if they have a couple of the flying spells, I mean, that would be what it takes to kill us next turn. I think we're safe to play Pirate's Cutlass. 10, 11, 12. And then, what'll it be? They can just jump it if we do it on the knave. This way they have to double block it. I'm fine with either result because they still have to double block the knave to kill it, and then Slash of Talons becomes good in either case. Okay. Assuming we're not dead next turn, the problem is if they have 2 more, 1 with the winds, we're dead, or if they have a single +5/+5 spell, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, then we're dead. Let's say they have that. They have +5/+5. That's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, wherever they cast it, so they just don't block anything. However, we have Slash of Talons, which will help us survive that. So yeah, I like this attack. I like this attack. If we thought they had, yeah, so they're going to go for it. The only thing we lose to is 2-1 with the winds. Of course, then we still have to kill them the next turn, which is not guaranteed by any means. But I imagine they will go for an all-out attack. There's 2. There's 1 with the wind, getting spooky. I hope they don't have the second one. The third one. Unbelievable. They had it. They had it. They had exactly 2-1 with the winds. Get out. Get real. We played around literally everything. Except that. Yep. Nice game.